What a great week here. All of us here at Retiring Well hope you had a wonderful week, and we're excited to bring you the show this week. Lily and I are going to start the show off by talking about the future of financial planning. There's a lot of challenges in the workforce out there, and how does that relate to the financial planning industry, and what are some of the questions you should be asking your financial advisor? Then diving into some details of what is tax law harvesting, and what does that look like, and how could it benefit or hurt you when it comes to tax time. Then talking about reducing your tax bill while saving for retirement. So if you're still working and you're looking at options to save for retirement, you're not going to want to miss this. And to conclude the show this week, we're going to talk about target dated funds. What are they? Where are they available? And what are some of the advantages and disadvantages to those in your portfolio? Again, all this and so much more this week coming at you on Retiring Well.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well, plan to retire well.
We're going to be talking this segment here about the future of financial planning. You know, we talk so much about retirement planning and all the aspects that come along with that. But what does the future look like, and what can maybe you expect, and some of the questions to ask as time goes along? I'm excited today as Lily is joining us here as a new team member here to Centennial Wealth and Retiring Well. You know, and Lily, and I know this is very important to you as you're entering this financial part of your career. But first, you know, tell everybody about yourself and what you're doing here.
Yeah, I'd love to. So hi, I'm Lilia Brookshire. I'm a proud native of the Elk Rapids community, where I've grown up enjoying the beautiful views and getting to know the wonderful people. Currently, I'm going into my senior year at Ferris State University, majoring in accounting and minoring in finance. Along with my studies, I'm an intern here at Centennial Wealth for the summer, where I'm gaining valuable hands-on experience. I'm excited to connect with you and share some insights on the world of finance.
Thank you. That's great. And we're excited to have Lily as part of our team here, especially this summer and as time goes along. And having, you know, with being a finance major and accounting and all that financial experience, you know, so much of the workforce in general out there is retiring right now. We're seeing a retirement movement here kind of after COVID and some of the stuff that's brought along, and just not as many people entering the workforce. So what does that look like for the future of many industries, but specific to financial planning? And so for yourself out there, if you're working with somebody, you know, we start to look at, you know, is that person older than you are? You know, are they going to be around during your retirement? And, you know, the different things that can happen along the way of your advisors maybe seeking or facing a retirement prior to, you know, to you. And so what does that look like with an advisor as they start to consider retirement or something? Well, if they're a smaller practice, maybe an independent practice, they may look at selling their practice to a larger one, and, you know, all the clients that are with them may go off to somebody else. They may look at transitioning that group of their clients to maybe a family member or somebody else that's maybe working for them in the industry, so you'll have like a new relationship at that point. If you're part of like a broker-dealer relationship or a larger firm, you might just work with another member within that firm potentially. So a lot of different options at what could happen, and many more out there, as maybe the person you're working with is looking at fulfilling their retirement dreams as well.
Yeah, so that's a good point. And with such a large portion of the workforce reaching retirement age, it's crucial for financial advisors to have a solid succession plan in place. By asking your advisors about their succession plan and their retirement timeline, you can help ensure a smooth transition of services between advisor to advisor for you and your family.
And that's so true. You know, you here with your life savings on the line and the relationships you've built over the years, it's important that you know and trust the individuals that you're working with, right? And so it's not just about the money piece of it. There's all these other aspects that probably you've built this relationship over the years. So ask these questions, you know, talk to your advisor. It's okay to ask this. You know, what is your plan? What is your succession plan if you were to retire? You know, who will be replacing you? Have you looked at selling your business? Have you looked at, is there a family member entering that business, and get to know them before that point. Ask to meet with them even prior to them taking that over, because it's important that you have to feel comfortable with that individual. When you're planning for these financial goals, these retirement successes along the way, it's not, again, just about the X's and O's with this. There's so many other pieces in place to have to deal with that. So Lilia, as we talk about this succession plan, we talk about new advisors. What got you interested in this?
Yeah, so good question. I'd love to tell you about that. So I think with every career field, there's a why, and my why is actually pretty simple. I've grown up, around this kind of industry a little bit, and after being at college and having a couple internships under my belt, I've seen such a strong need for not only young investors, but middle-aged investors and even people reaching retirement. Why? Why am I saving for retirement, and how? How do I even start a retirement account? So it's awesome because advisors can kind of stand in that bridge between you and the financial world and be able to provide some comfort there. And I think that's super awesome, and that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited to get in this industry.
That's fantastic, and thank you for sharing that, Lilia. And as you can see, Lilia is very passionate about this, and we all here at Centennial Wealth Advisory. Financial planning, retirement planning is we really want to put this puzzle together to you so you can plan to retire well. If you're entering retirement or building for your financial future, give us a call to the number on the screen. We'd love to talk to you. Sit down for a no-cost, no obligation visit with the team here at Centennial Wealth Advisory.
If you like watching Retiring Well, make sure to go to youtube.com/retiringwell and click the subscribe button to never miss any of our TV shows and other informative videos.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to take me on vacation?
Will you be there for my ball games?
Will you teach me your values? You'll be able to play with me.
Oh, help me go to college. How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. Contact us today.
You made it. Years of hard work, investing, planning, and now you're here. The long-awaited reward you spent a lifetime looking forward to. But what now? After years of growing a nest egg, now you may want to manage it. Use it to fund your dreams. Make it last as long as you need it. And leave some for those you love. So what do? Wall Street continues to be uncertain, and some conservative options have dropped through the floor. How do you maintain opportunities for growth and reduce risk of loss from market changes? That's where we come in. We are financial professionals. From investments and insurance products to tax reduction strategies and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, provided by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. You've worked a lifetime to get here. Let us help you enjoy it to the fullest. For a complimentary consultation, simply contact us today.
Living life isn't always easy. It puts up challenges and obstacles you'll have to overcome. There are responsibilities. You put in effort to provide and take care of your family, and to save and invest, to balance work and life. Planning is the first step to succeeding. Plan to retire well.
You might be asking yourself, what is tax loss harvesting? So 2022 was a dismal year in the stock market and the bond market, but does it make sense to start harvesting losses? So this is only going to be applicable to your after-tax investments. So if you have a brokerage account either in your name or maybe held jointly, that's again after-tax money, and you have different investments that have either gained or lost, that's what we're talking about here. It doesn't apply to your IRA, 401k, Roth IRA, etc. So selling investments that are currently at a loss and so that you can realize losses in this calendar year is tax loss harvesting. So it's mainly going to be for tax purposes that you're doing this. Now there's only $3,000 of capital losses that you can write off as a maximum in each tax year, but you can also use those to offset gains that you have in different stocks, or you can carry those losses over for future years. Now there is this key area known as the wash sale rule. So this applies where for 30 days after you sell this position, you have to wait and you can't buy that same share or stock and can't do that within this 30-day time frame. Now you could go out and if you sold, a certain technology stock, you could go and find a different company technology stock, or you could go and find maybe a technology-based exchange traded fund that would hold similar types of investments and everything. You would be allowed to do that, but you can't hold the same particular stock during that 30-day window. And you can't do that. The other little known rule, you can't go and do that within an IRA or 401k. So if you sell that stock out of your after-tax brokerage account, you can't go and then buy that stock in your IRA or 401k. That essentially the IRS says that violates the wash sale rule. So you want to be careful of that. Again, losses in your IRA or Roth IRA are not deductible, and so this rule only applies to your after-tax accounts. And that's where, if you don't currently have any after-tax money built up, it might be an important tip to try and get some money built up in after-tax accounts so that when you get to a stage either before retirement or in retirement where you need some additional funds, but you don't want to have the tax implications of what you might have in your 401k or traditional IRA, having that after-tax bucket of money can be pretty valuable to you. So we encourage you to give us a call here if you have any questions. We'd love to sit down and chat.
When it comes to your financial future, what's the value of a truly objective opinion? As someone looking for financial guidance, you have choices. There are thousands of captive financial professionals who work as employees for large national insurance companies and brokerages. There are also many independent financial professionals who aren't bound to any given insurance company, investment strategy, or product. So what's the difference, and why does it really matter to you? Consider this. If you walked into a doctor's office with a sore throat, a bad cough, and a high fever, you'd expect that doctor to assess your symptoms, do a thorough diagnosis, and ultimately hand you a prescription written to cure your particular ailment. In other words, you'd expect the doctor to consider all the medications available and give you his or her absolute best thinking on what's best for you. On the other hand, if that doctor opened the cupboard and only had 3 or 4 prescriptions available, maybe those offered by his or her favorite pharmaceutical rep, most patients would immediately raise an eyebrow, suspicious that they might not be getting what was really in their best interest. The same may be true for your financial well-being. If your financial professional is an employee who's contractually bound to represent a given insurance or investment company, only offering their products while there are literally hundreds of others available, how sure can you be that you're being offered what's truly best for your situation? You don't walk into a tailor or seamstress shop to get clothing off some rack. You go for a custom tailored fit. And with something as important as your financial future at hand, the stakes are even higher. We believe you deserve a truly objective opinion. We think you deserve to consider more of the available options. And we believe your financial future is worth a custom-tailored prescription to help you feel confident for the days ahead. If you'd like a second opinion on your current retirement strategy, simply contact our office today.
In today's day and age, with a longer lifespan, you're more likely to encounter both good and bad market performance. For that reason, when planning for retirement, it's increasingly important to seek guidance from a financial advisor who can help you structure an income strategy that reflects your financial situation, risk tolerance, and investment objectives. You don't want just any advice, but objective financial advice. With so much at stake, it's important that you feel you can trust a financial advisor to consider a wide variety of possible solutions, including both investment and insurance products. Here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we're not beholden to any certain investment tools or vehicles. We're independent. We can offer a wide variety of investment tools that meet your needs. So please, if you have any questions or you want to schedule an initial consultation, don't hesitate to give us a call at the number on the screen. We're happy to help in any way that we can. All right, well, we bring up that old cliche quite frequently that there's only two certainties in life, death and taxes. And here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we like to think of many different ways that we can reduce your tax liability. And in fact, there's a bunch of different ways to reduce your tax liability while still saving for retirement. So let's go over those today, okay? So the first one is maximizing your contributions to your 401k. Okay, so for the year 2023, your max 401k contribution is $22,500. Okay, so if you can afford to max that out, and let's say that you're in the 24% tax bracket, you're going to reduce your tax bill by about $5,400 by maxing that out. But let's say there's even another option. So you got the 401k going for you. Well, why not add an IRA? Okay, so if in the year 2023, the max IRA contribution is $6,500. Okay, so if you can max that out as well, you're going to reduce your tax liability by about $1,560 a year. So there's two great ways that you can save for retirement and reduce once you're paying Uncle Sam. Another option that I've found for a lot of clients is, maybe one client is working and the spouse is maybe a stay-at-home spouse and thinks they don't have the ability to contribute to a retirement account. Well, that's just not the case, okay? So you could open up what's called a spousal IRA. And that's for those spouses that they don't have earned income. Okay, and by doing that, you increase the max that you can contribute to an IRA from $6,500 a year up to, you just multiply by 2, so $13,000 a year. So that's even more savings that you can get by continuing to invest for your retirement. Now, another option that you have is by doing what's called a Roth conversion. Okay, so the Roth conversion, typically when you're in your working years, you're going to have a little bit higher income. Okay, so you might want to avoid doing those Roth conversions. But let's say that it's an off year, okay, and let's say that you don't have as much income and you're in that lower tax bracket. Maybe you're in the 12% tax bracket. That would be a great time to get Uncle Sam out of your pocket and do those Roth conversions to maximize that 12% tax bracket. Now, that is not really saving you money on taxes, right? But it could be, okay? Because where are tax rates going from here? Maybe they're going up. So when you get to retirement, if you're forced to take money out of that IRA, which you will be at age 73, where do you think tax rates are going to be then versus now? So that's why you could make a case to doing those Roth conversions and maybe an off year in your income when you have lower income to maximize whatever tax bracket you're in. Also, another great example of maximizing those Roth conversions is, I had a recent couple where they were both going to have pensions in retirement plus Social Security. So they had a unique situation where their income in retirement was actually going to be more than while they were working. Okay, it was a great situation for them. But that also opened up some tax planning opportunities for them as well, because we knew, okay, when they retire and when they get to age 65, they were going to actually be in the 22% tax bracket, even though while they were working, they were only in the 12. So it made the most sense to right now maximize that 22% tax bracket by doing those Roth conversions, knowing that when they retire and when they're both on Social Security and on their pensions, that they're going to be in that 22% tax bracket anyway. And again, where do we think that 22% tax bracket is going to be in the future? Well, who knows? but most likely it'll probably be up higher, right? It'll probably be back to the 25%. But again, that's not set in stone. So there's multiple different ways that you can go about saving for retirement, but also reducing your tax obligation. So don't forget, options are, well, max out that 401k contribution, max out your IRA contribution, maybe do a spousal IRA contribution if you can, and consider those Roth conversions if you have some wiggle room in that tax bracket.
If you like watching Retiring Well, make sure to go to youtube.com/retiringwell and click the subscribe button to never miss any of our TV shows and other informative videos.
Remember when life was simpler? When things didn't move quite so fast, and the world didn't seem so complex? Remember that? We do. And as the world around us has continued to speed up, becoming more complicated, and still a bit uncertain, we have managed to keep things simple, providing sound, easy-to-understand financial advice and customized roadmaps for the road ahead, from tax reduction strategies, investment advice, and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, backed by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. We can be your single point of contact, a single call, a voice you recognize well, and a partner who can be by your side for the entire journey. We can't stop the world around us, but we can help ensure you're prepared for what's to come. To schedule a no-obligation meeting, simply contact us today.
You can have a portfolio or you can have a plan. You can play it safely or you can safely plan. You can guess when to take Social Security or you can make your decision based on detailed analysis. You can hope your savings will last your entire retirement, or you can take action and know. You can let life happen to you, or you can take control. You can go it alone, or you can have an experienced guide ready to walk with you every step of the way. We are Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial planners serving all of northern Michigan, offices in Gaylord, Petoskey, Traverse City, and Cadillac. Simply call the number on your screen for a complimentary initial consultation and let us help you plan to retire well. Hey, welcome to the segment on what are target date funds. I'm very excited to let you learn about them, but I want to start with a quick story. If you remember the great rock band from the 70s and 80s called Van Halen, when they would go to a venue, they had to sign documents and make sure the proper safety precautions were in place. And what they did is they set up a safety-related tripwire in their contract, so that when they would go to a venue, they wanted to see if this tripwire was activated or not, and that would let them know if they needed to look further into some potential problems. So what they called it was Article 126. It was called the M&M clause, and they simply just said, hey, if we're going to play at your venue, we just want, for the band, a bowl of M&Ms. But there's a catch. We don't want any brown M&Ms. So they would get to the venue, they would go into the room, they'd see the bowl of M&Ms, and they'd check for brown M&Ms. If there were brown M&Ms, that was their tripwire to say, hey, we might need to look at some other things because potentially this venue didn't actually read the contract and the protocols that we had in place might not be followed. So what do they define a tripwire to be. Anything that can toggle your mind out of autopilot, and it gets you to make decisions better. Okay, it's a way that you can look through potentially your target date funds, as we're about to go through some potential tripwires, and say, ooh, that's a problem, we want to do something about it. So you might want to think, as I teach you these different tripwires, do you have any of these tripwires in your current retirement account funds that you're getting through your employer? Let's first define what are target date funds. Okay, these are just professionally managed investments. They're kind of a one-size-fits-all approach to equities, fixed income, asset allocation, maybe some cash. And what they're going to do is they're going to set a date as to when they think you're going to retire. And then their, quote, glide path, as you get closer to that retirement, there's a shift to more conservative investments. So instead of it being such a high equity exposure, that might be going down, and your fixed income or cash exposure would be going up. Okay? They're very popular. They were first introduced in 1994, and they currently have about $2.82 trillion in these target date funds. They're misunderstood. Okay, so target date funds, they had a survey and they figured out that 68% of the participants thought that those target date funds were FDIC insured. 57% incorrectly believe that these target date funds were 100% cash at retirement. That's not the case. And then the last one was about half, 50% of the people misunderstood that their guaranteed income would be met during their retirement years. So they thought one turnkey, this is when I'm going to retire and everything's going to be okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into 5 different tripwires that you might be able to learn about to then go through your retirement plan and see if you need to react. The first one is called the time frame tripwire. On average, believe it or not, the average tenure for an employer-employee relationship is about 4 years in the United States right now. So when you're doing these target date funds, you know, are you really planning for the long term? If the tenure is only going to be 4 years, you know, compare how long you want to work and continue to be at that job, and then look at what your target date fund might be, adjust accordingly. The next one is your cash flow tripwire. A lot of these target date funds don't have any kind of income rider or income producing investment after you retire. And so what is that cash flow going to look like as you transition from a paycheck to retirement? And how well can these help facilitate that retirement income? The next one is the risk tripwire. This is the one that is super important to look at. If you don't know what your risk is in your investment, then you need to spend some time learning about it. If I'm taking a risk, it's going to be understood where that risk is and what kind of return I might get for taking that risk. Prioritizing your risk is super important. The next one is contribution tripwires. How much do you have in that fund? How much are you going to continue to put into that fund? How much is your employer going to put into that fund? Are we going to have enough once we get to that target date? And then the other one is the other stuff tripwire. You know, people are living a lot longer. So how do these target date funds coordinate with pensions, Social Securities, other sources of income? If you don't have a plan and you don't understand things, please feel free to give us a call. We're always willing to help teach you. Plan to retire well.